Hey everyone! So, if you're one of the millions of people renting here in California, you've probably asked yourself about renter's insurance. Is it really worth it? What does it actually cover? Well, today we're going to break down everything you need to know. Let's dive right in.
Seriously, just stop and think about that for a second. Your laptop, your phone, all your clothes, that couch you love, the TV, literally everything. If a fire or a theft happened tomorrow and it was all gone, could you really afford to buy it all back? For most of us, that answer is a hard no.
And look, living in California is amazing, but the reality is it comes with its own set of challenges. We're not just talking about someone breaking a window. We're talking about the very real threat of wildfires that can sweep through and take everything. And that's exactly why you need to know how to protect yourself.
Okay, so what exactly does a standard policy cover you for? Let's take a look at the most common things, or what the insurance world calls perils, that are usually included.
Think of a standard policy as your first line of defense. It's built to shield you from the most common disasters you might face as a renter, things like fire and smoke damage, theft, vandalism, or even a plumbing nightmare like a burst pipe flooding your apartment. These are really the core protections every single renter should have in place. All right, so knowing all those risks, what's the solution? Well, a good renter's insurance policy isn't nearly as complicated as it sounds. The best way to think about it is as a simple but really powerful three-part safety net. The first shield, and the one most people think of, is personal property protection. This is the part of the policy that directly answers that big question we started with. It's designed to pay for all your stuff, your clothes, your computer, your furniture, everything, if it gets damaged or stolen. And this brings up a super important choice you'll have to make. You've got two options. There's actual cash value, or ACV, which pays you what your 5-year-old laptop is worth today, which, let's be honest, isn't much. But then you have replacement cost value, or RCV. This gives you the money to go out and buy a brand new one. For true peace of mind, RCV is almost always the way to go.
Now, the second piece of this safety net isn't about your belongings at all. It's about protecting your money, your savings, your future income, if you're ever found responsible for an accident that happens in your home.
So, here's a real-world example. Let's say your dog nips a guest, or you forget the bathtub is running and it floods the apartment downstairs. You could suddenly be on the hook for thousands, or even tens of thousands, in medical bills and repair costs. This coverage is an absolute financial lifesaver in those moments.
And that brings us to the third shield. This is the one people often forget about, but it is so important. This part makes sure you have a place to live if a disaster forces you out of your home.
Just imagine a fire makes your apartment unlivable. Where are you going to go? This is where additional living expenses, or ALE, kicks in. It covers things like a hotel stay, the extra cost of eating out since you don't have a kitchen, even laundry services. In a state as expensive as California, especially in places like San Francisco or LA, this isn't a luxury. It's a flat-out necessity.
Okay, so we've got this awesome three-part safety net. The question everyone asks next is pretty simple. What's this actually going to set me back? So let's decode that price tag.
Honestly, you might be surprised at how affordable it is. The average cost for renter's insurance in California is usually somewhere between $180 and $250 a year. That breaks down to about $15 to $20 a month. We are talking less than a few fancy coffees for a massive amount of financial security.
But that's just an average, right? Your actual price depends on a few key things. Your location matters a lot. Renting in a city is different from a rural area. How much coverage you want is a big one too. And then there's your deductible. That's what you pay out of pocket before the insurance kicks in. A higher deductible usually means a lower monthly payment. Oh, and here's a pro tip. If you bundle your renter's policy with your auto insurance, you can almost always get a pretty nice discount.
All right, now this is just as important. We need to talk about what a standard policy does not cover. It's crucial to know about the gaps in your coverage.
This is a big one for every single person in California. Your standard renter's policy will not cover damage from earthquakes or floods. Let me say that again. Your basic policy does not cover you for earthquakes or floods. Given where we live, you absolutely have to decide if you need to buy separate, specialized policies for those risks.
Okay, so you get the risks, you know what's covered, and you have an idea of the cost. So how do you actually get protected? The good news is, it's a pretty straightforward three-step process. First, do a quick inventory. The easiest way? Just walk through your apartment with your phone and record a video of everything you own. It takes minutes and it's proof. Second, you gotta shop around.
Get at least 3 to 5 quotes from different companies to see who gives you the best deal for the same coverage. And finally, before you sign anything, read the details. Look for limits on things like jewelry or expensive electronics so there are no nasty surprises if you ever have to file a claim.
At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this. This isn't just about buying insurance. It's about making a smart, informed decision that protects your financial future. When you take the time to really understand your options, that's how you get real peace of mind.
And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one last incredibly important thought. A lot of renters think, oh, I'm covered by my landlord's insurance, but you're not. That policy only protects the building itself, the walls, the roof, the foundation. It does absolutely nothing to protect you or anything you own inside those walls.
So the question you have to ask yourself is this. Your landlord protects the building, but who protects your stuff, your finances, your life inside it? The answer can and really should be you.